are you saying that would take its presence in when we put the appropriations together, or no?
It will not be in the appropriation. It's only reported to the fiscal commission
Okay.
at the monthly commission meetings what the status of those lawsuits are.
Okay, and that'll be saying that money that we have agreed to pay with the agreement that is here, and it starts 2016. And this financial plan starts 2016.
You're talking about structured settlements?
Yes.
Where we have structured payments?
Where this one is an agreement. Madam Law Prosecutor, I have to say that because it is better. The McKenna settlement is where we asked you to go back and redo it. It was $217,000.
Yes, that was passed.
Yes. I know, but is it supposed to be in the financial plan?
I would defer to the finance director.
And he's saying no.
It's not specifically delineated here, but there are accounts in the budget that will account for making the payments.
Okay.
But they're not specifically listed here. I mean, if you look at the expenditures in the law department under other, on page 8, and there are some.
One second, Director. You just noted that the absence of Baker and Martin, we discussed the finances. Okay, go ahead.
So it's not specifically listed here, but it's in, if there are any scheduled payments, they are within this appropriation, within the budget.
And it says we're under other. What other?
At the
Law department, other.
Okay, law department, other. Okay. Just because I'm not gonna say I'm not trusting, but I like to see it spelled out under other. You know how I am about other. Yeah.
Madam President, it's not me going to the Bahamas, this 115,000. A lot of times, Jack takes it out of my budget whenever we lose a case or have to settle. Even if it's the police at fault, it comes out of my budget.
Okay.
So my budget is very, very streamlined and very, very cautious. But the reason it looks so inflated is because generally those payments come out of my budget. And that's what they're generally there for. I mean, my few, 2, 3 little people and myself, we don't account for this 115,000. We're not, using $115,000 worth of paper clips and paper and pens. In fact, most of my pens come from where I visit and borrow and my bank in Huntington. And so that's where a lot of.
So you're saying that each year,
yes,
there's $25,000 that is scheduled, and that's what we agreed on. Am I correct?
yes.
Okay, that $25,000 is going to come out each year.
From my budget. That's been my past experience. I don't know.
Central Services.
Yeah, and we've asked that for Central Services also. You're right.
Pardon me. I'm looking at my financial plan. Council people up here is looking at it also. When we go to talk about this financial plan, or somebody asks us, or say this guy that goes up there and gets the copy of the financial plan, and she says, well, I got this agreement with McKenna. Where's that money So,
most of our settlements, like, former Councilor O'May said, it either comes out of my budget or
I'm not talking to,
central stuff.
I'm not talking to Mr. O'Meara, I'm talking to my prosecutor right now.
Yeah, like,
So
Director,
all I wanna know,
Yeah.
is that where it's gonna come from, Mr. Finance Director?
Either the law department or central services.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, so you're gonna say that you're gonna make that $25, that $25,000 payment out of either or, okay? And I'll be looking at it when we go to the commission meeting.
So like, just clarity purposes, you're saying that you're gonna extract that from the other and identify it as that item specifically, or no? Is that what you're asking?
Well, it should.
Pardon me, I'm asking my director, my finance director, who's trying to give me a logical answer. Where is it going to come from when it's time to do the scheduling of that particular 25,000? My resident over here is saying one thing, but I want to hear from the finance director who's getting paid to say where this is going to come from.
Can I give you that answer? I'll repeat it. Either the law department or central services or wherever else in the general fund the appropriation is available.
Okay.
It will come somewhere out of the general fund.
Okay.
That's the only fund that's gonna be available.
Okay. All right, anybody understand?
Everybody got clarity on that?
Okay.
Well,
Martin, Mr. Martin, you understand?
I don't know, I stepped out, I noticed McKenna's not the one
That's the one with the,
Make that
we
settlement.
went back and we
that, right,
had them
and reduced it to
reevaluated.
$20,000.
Yes,
Yeah, my concern with this whole situation is due tomorrow, right?
yes. And this is a
You know,
projection.
This, is projection, but this bothers me. Here we are, a municipality, with basically a $10 million budget, Mr. Johnson?
That's history.
That's his, what is that budget now?
It's more like 8 million.
8 million. Okay, we can't do a whole lot, and perhaps the most important thing that the council does, Robert Thomas, is to give him the budget for 2016. Now, here we are, the night before, and I just asked myself the common sense question, what has been going on the last how long we been trying to get the recovery plan from the administration?
Too long.
How long, Barbara?
Too long.
Too long. And here we are with the gun up against our heads. If we don't pass this thing tonight, we don't meet the deadline. And I just asked myself a common sense question. Why couldn't we got 3-4 days ago, a week ago, the night before? It makes me not even want to vote for it because it's like, I think we're taking for granted here. Mayor, you've been up here. You know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Martin, can I stop you in the middle of that?
Yeah, because this is bothering me.
The reason I want to stop you in the middle of that is because there were some insinuating circumstances. Okay, we were talking about the health care.
Right.
That's why I'm saying I went up there yesterday to make sure that, because they were telling me that telling this council that the health care was up to date before. So I went up there and I talked to Director Johnson.
Okay.
And I talked to Tish before, and what they said was that the third-party administrator who deals with giving us the
Healthcare?
the bill,
Okay.
they had not given them all the bill. So when I asked about it, it became a hang-up, so to speak, because you cannot complete anything without knowing what the total amount is.
Okay.
And they couldn't put that in there because they didn't know, and they had to meet with the third-party administrator. And I was jumping up and down. I said, I don't care what you have to do, I will not pass nothing unless we have the information from our third-party administrators. So he went and got it, and they put it in the other day. Okay, so I went over it yesterday, and there were some things in there that I had him to change, like the license. Was it the license plate thing? Where you read, yes. We cannot do anything with them because we can't even straighten out what we got. I was looking at, a sheet today at home, and I saw where ATS was holding the money back, and they had not given us our money. So there's a lot of things that really was not the fault of the finance director, because he was trying, it was everybody else.
Well,
You might like-
if we,
You might like get some clarity on that?
Okay.
For you?
Huh?
Can I get a little more clarity on that for
yeah,
you?
would you, because if not, I'm not voting
From
for
the
it.
last financial commission meeting, we had already submitted a plan, that plan was rejected. We had to go back and revise the plan again. We had 30 days to revise that plan.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, Director Johnson had revised the plan, like she said about the third-party administrator, was a hold-up. But Barbara has, or Council President has met like 2 or 3 times prior to today, in the last 30 days, trying to get this plan together. So it was because of the lack of other participation, but not on the administration or our side.
So Mr.
Mr.
Johnson, would you go? Yeah.
And Councilman Martin, and I understand and appreciate your concern about what seems to be an 11th hour presentation to City Council on a consistent basis. But what I'm hoping that you can understand is that when the commission rejected the plan at the end of last month, and we had 30 days to revise this plan, you know, what you don't see is that in addition to the meeting that I've had with Council President, I am sitting down with the fiscal supervisors too, so that we both can agree on what the revisions are going to be. So we've had a series of meetings to come to what these numbers are, and that takes time. I'm here 2 days a week, and you know she works all over the state. So the times that we can, you know, get our schedules together to meet, to agree on these numbers, takes some time. But I'm not making excuses, but, you know, that takes some time to sit down and try to figure out.
And I would be, and
We both have to
I'm gonna
agree.
ask him this, and then Barbara, you can,
Okay.
is there anything in here that we need to be cognizant of in this budget, since we're not getting it?
Absolutely.
Okay, could you point, can you,
Yeah.
be okay for me to point it out?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I was saying, but there's some, I was telling you about some changes that we had made.
Okay,
And we haven't put our budget together yet. But it's not in here because the appropriation, when the budget, process start coming, then we will put our, budget into play.
okay.
Okay, but go ahead, Mr.
Go ahead,
And he
Mr.
even numbered our things for me, because that was one of the things that was missing.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
Okay, the changes from,
What page you on?
well, we'll start on page.
Okay.
From the changes from August 27th, revision, start on page 2, format for appropriation, item B.
I see it. On before October 1st, go ahead.
Correct.
Mhm.
The last part of that sentence said that the department budgets would be submitted to the chief of staff in addition to the mayor and the director of finance,
Okay.
and the chief of staff was stricken
All right.
from that. That was a change.
All right.
But I don't know why we should give nothing to the chief of staff, he ain't
Never here.
Okay, continue.
On page,
trying. Excuse me.
other actions.
In that license?
Yeah, it was under other actions. Under other actions, we start on page 4.
Okay, I see it. Which
Okay.
number?
Well, it was item 14, and now that's been stricken. Item 14 was reference to the city's intention to explore an automated license plate reader program where police officers would have automated license plates readers mounted on the rear of police cruisers, and they could scan vehicles that were passing by, and if there were expired plates, expired driver's license, or if they were speeding, would be issued citations. But we've decided not to do that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Why did we decide not to do that program?
This is stupid.
Well, there are a number of issues that we have not been able to clarify. One is whether we could use part-time police officers to do this. It's not real clear. It appears that the law requires that they be full-time. And as Council President has alluded to several times, we've not been able to agree with Mr. Danzel in terms of how the program would run and how the money would be shared. Potentially, the program had the ability to generate about $600,000 for the city, and that's why it was in the plan originally. But we're not real sure if it's going to be feasible. And after having talked with the council president, she felt that because it had not been finalized and we weren't sure that we were going to be able to go forward with it, that we should delete it from the plan. So that was deleted.
Continue.
Okay.
The option available to put it back in something.
The option to do the program is still here. It's just that we've stricken it from the plan because we weren't sure that we would be able to go forward. But we can still do it and incorporate it into the plan once we're doing it, if we decide to do it.
How aggressive are we with this casino revenues?
Let's recall that.
How aggressive are we with number 11, petitioning the county? I know I stated that about 2 years ago because I was a voter that was sold the hope and dream of getting money from the county, and cities, that within Cuyahoga County would be afforded that opportunity to receive revenues. And to date, the county, the state, and the city of Cleveland have been the only beneficiaries to that referendum passing. So I would love to know where we are in that process, because that was a commitment from that organization that brought forth that ballot issue.
I think we're still hopeful that, eventually some casino money will spill out outside of the city of Cleveland and into suburbs, but so far it hasn't happened.
I would hope it becomes a joint effort amongst cities to petition the county government.
We're still hopeful that the state legislature will see fit to restore some of our local government funding. So we always keep hope alive. And the last thing is on page 9.
Ringer, sir.
Shared services for trash collection keeps popping up with the city of Cleveland, and also shared services with merging the fire department. That was stated in previous time that those were not an economical, it wouldn't be economical for us to agree to that. The fire department stated that if
No, I'm
we
not
were
talking about the fire, I'm talking about the rubbish. You said the rubbish.
I stated two things. I stated the shared services for trash collection and shared services for fire protection, which meant merging our fire department. Both came back not compatible with our current operational standard.
We still feel, or I should say, I still feel that if done right, they could be economical benefits to the city's public. The problem is that the city of Cleveland has a different idea of how much it should cost us, and that's where we have not reached an agreement yet in terms of exactly how much those services should cost us. I mean, we know what they cost us now, and we feel that they can do it less expensive. They don't feel that they can do it less expensive, so that's still going on.
Keep
It's an
showing up
ongoing-
as an ongoing project.
It's an ongoing.
And you gotta remember that what stopped you dead in your tracks before was the law. The law prohibited us from dealing with the city and the rubbish. But when they turned that law over and the law was done away with, now we can seek an intervention or a sharing of the rubbish.
So that is, it's still ongoing.
Can I also concern about page 7 under the traffic cameras? I see it under forecasted for 2016. You have it zeroed out all the way across 2017, 2018, 2019. That's zeroed out for what reason? And the cameras are still actively on the streets. They will be on the streets still in 2016. Are you not projecting anything to come in 2016?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
The mobile tripods are still there, and the fixed assets are still flashing.
And my advice has been that we immediately discontinue
Suspend
the
the program.
Yep.
program. That hasn't happened yet. My hope is that it will happen soon. And the reason for that is that with the new law as it is, for communities that were not a part of the injunction lawsuit, which East Cleveland is not,
Right.
that we're being told that we're going to be penalized
That's right.
for whatever, right, they're gonna take it from our local government.
And I would say, and emphatically, that we cease the program and it not continue over to the 2016 appropriation. It is jeopardizing the continuation of our operation here, and more importantly, our general fund. And if a person does not see that to be a major importance, then, quite frankly, their eyes are wide shut.
Well, you have the ability to do that as the legislative body, if that's the way you feel about it.
And so,
So
I'm sorry, can I?
Yeah.
But you. Okay.
Allowed you guys to
No,
have
you stepped out for a moment.
but I know what I'm questioning about.
I know. I had a question. In regards to that. The point is that we got his opinion and the director's opinion that he think it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be on this.
So my next
thing
thing is to the law department. I would hope that we are falling within what the law is saying and the guidelines are saying, because if we're placing ourselves at risk here, the two individuals that I'm gazing my eyes on are also going to be called to the carpet on this, because your first allegiance should be to your licensure, and secondly, your bondship. All right, so I would suggest that whatever conversation needs to happen, it needs to suspend this immediately.
Okay, King.
I would ask the law director, how can we become part of that lawsuit? Because I think that would serve the city better to be part of the lawsuit than to not be part of the lawsuit.
Lawsuit's over.
Keep the
It's
cameras.
over. You missed.
So it's completely over.
They let
everything
I thought it was still.
We were trying to appeal, Councilman,
Mm-hmm.
on a past practice.
Hold on, man, Sil, please.
We're not part of the ongoing lawsuit.
No.
We were originally a part of the lawsuit,
Can
but we are not now.
Can we become part of the appeal?
No.
Not at this juncture.
2 years.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So from my understanding, from our position, we can actually put it into a council, correct? Okay.
You can take it out under the legislative process. If you don't want something, take it out. At the budget hearing, you can do that. Am I correct?
Well, the finance director has zeroed it out, so
I'm just saying, but it's still
it's
going.
de facto out.
Yeah.
Just
So
do
this
it.
is,
Come on, let's get some order.
I need to have a further
give me
dialogue
my gavel.
to see what I mean.
All right,
Well, that's
go ahead. You
Let's
got one
go
more question?
ahead.
To do
No, thank you.
Maybe I
Okay.
understand.
Are you, okay, that's right.
You still on page 9, right? No, you stopped on page 9, you turn to page 9.
Only up
General
Wherever
fund.
you want me to go.
Yeah, well, that's where you stop at, but I got a question for you. On the human resources,
What page you on?
page 9,
9, okay.
that's where we stopped at when we went through this dialogue. I'm looking at human resources in 2015 at $100,000, but in 2016 it drops to 38,000, forecasted at 37,515 and 6 cents. So is that for the human resources person, the one person? And is in human resources right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, if you add 37 and 45, what do you get? You get $80,000.
No, I think.
You
Can
know
I
what I'm
clarify?
doing.
yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
clarify
please.
this?
Okay.
I think there's an assumption here that you're talking about wages. This is
Yeah.
a person, a person gets PERS, they get health
This is
care.
fringe all.
Oh, that comes
This
out of
is
there?
all of the fringes that go along with
Okay, you see that, and this is why we sent 3 memos up to try to find out what people are making. Okay.
that. And that report is coming to you.
It is?
I'm aware of this report.
Okay.
And as far as I know, the report was generated and the report is on its way to you.
Good. Well,
And
let me,
I-
one last question, Barbara, I want to ask you.
I wanted to catch you before you move on.
Okay.
And I know where you're going,
Mhm.
but that can come out in appropriations. Okay?
Okay. Well, can I ask you, and then we can move on, because I know we want to get out of here. Whoever is the part-time person in human resources right now, what is that person making without the PRS? What is the base salary, you know?
I don't have that on file. I got a lot of things in my head, but I don't have
I mean,
that.
I can tell you what
Well,
20
well,
people.
Out of 120 people,
All right, I'll find out.
I don't even know how much.
That's for the sake of time.
It just caught my attention, because, I just added that together. I said, I didn't take in the PRS and all like that, but,
But when the appropriations come, you can do what you gotta do.
okay,
And it's healthcare too and all that stuff.
okay.
Go ahead, Director.
So on page 9, down at the bottom, this is the most important part. And that is that the state auditors are now requiring us to take all of our negative funds and roll them into the general fund, which is the $1,380,000.
At the bottom,
And
what do
that's
you-
under forecasted 2016,
Where?
about 4 lines from the bottom,
Okay, right here?
$1,380,000.
Yeah, I see it.
So those are all the other negative funds that we have. They're requiring us to do that. Roll
Okay.
all the negative funds into the general fund. And if you see the other 2 items at the top, the only revenue is they allowed us to forecast $250,000 in additional revenue from EMS as a result of the
I
rate
see it right
increase
here. Mhm.
that council passed. That rate increase they were supposed to have started billing that July 1.
But it was an emergency, so,
Right, it should have been
so
effective
it should have
July
been
1.
effective immediately upon signing.
Right.
So did we, at that point, start accruing, those additional
They
fees?
started billing it July 1.
July 1.
Right, the increase. So we haven't seen that. We haven't seen increase yet, but it should. They've allowed us to project $250,000
That's about
additional.
15,000 US funds a year.
Right.
Necessary.
It's the 10%.
So the other item is a reduction in staff.
Okay.
And that's 700, for 2016, is 785,000. And if you look,
234, that's 785,234?
Correct.
Okay.
and if you look going across for 17, 18, and 19,
Mhm.
those are additional amounts of staff cuts. So, it's pretty drastic, and it's gonna get pretty drastic. After 2017, that's very drastic.
And that's what the thought of, and I respect it,
Go ahead.
That's what the thought of. We were at 200 plus employees in 2010. The reduction then was about what? Casey cut us by 2 million, and then you look at the loss of Huron's portion, and some other small portions. All right. There was a hiring freeze put in place, a salary freeze put in place, and the date in here says 2014. But I noticed, adjustments after 2014 that, would warrant one to say, hey, the consideration of what will happen in the future is not being judged upon right now. We're not looking at this for the right now. We're trying to operate towards the future. So if we lost about 3 million, let's say roughly 3 million, why wasn't there a reduction in staff in 2014?
Yeah.
And why wasn't it a reduction in staff when we forecasted in 2013?
Should we save the council?
And that's a tough question to ask you because you're not the chief administrative person for the administration. However, we're down employees now. Did Governor Casey cut us some more that I didn't find?
Well, can I answer that question? If you look at a little bit higher on that same page,
Page 9.
page 9, under total expenditures for 2013, total budget was $14,196,250. If you look at 14, that was 13. I'm sorry. If you look at 14, it was 11 million. That's a $3 million.
And I respected that. And Director.
If you look at forecasted for 2015, it's another. Well, it goes down to about $300,000, $200,000. And if you look at going across, and those cuts were not enough to satisfy the fiscal commission. They want to see.
And I respect that. But that's the general fund. Is that encompassing grants that we've received? Is that encompassing small portions of revenue from court deposits, fees and fines, people pulling permits, donations, the fact that we did not go out and buy apparatuses, fact that some things were leased, we sold some property. I'm saying the government allocation, what the government sends us, and what we will incur as a city based on our operations, and the loss of staff. I just don't know where those begin to line up, other than to say that the day-to-day operations was not managed properly.
Exactly.
Because if anything,
Exactly.
I should have said to myself, hey, if I were in his shoes, I would have said, hey, I need to go out and see what areas am I not focusing on that is losing revenue, i.e. the tax department. We may have just given them over to Rita, but we probably could have held. We just dissolved all the line items for payroll, but we could have kept the tax enforcement officer, which is a fund-generating position.
Right.
We seem to have dissolved every fund-generating positions. We had at one point we had 4 inspectors up there.
Right.
I would assign 2 of them to go out and just write tickets all day, and then the other 2 can handle point of sales. The consolidation of role or the cross-training of employees, it was easy to fix the stuff before it caught on fire for real. It was smoldering and smoking. We should have fixed it then. But it paints one's own agenda. I could sit here with some intelligent minds and come to every good conclusion. Residential occupancy fee, increasing fees. Then when we started talking about it, I told them that $100 is chump change to people that don't look like us, that walk out of this community with millions operating gas stations. I don't want to be a person that targets a select group of people, but the select group of people that are not tax heavy in this community and probably don't circulate $1. That dollar is gone in an hour in our community, and then it circulates 5 and 10 times in somebody else's community. When is enough enough? When is enough as it relates to how we do business on a day-to-day basis and how we control our finances? I realized Ron Brooks juggled money. I realized Irene Crowell wasn't so astute to be able to manage this, but you're a little bit more tactful and a little bit more well put together. And I know you got a lot to lose, so you're gonna manage this appropriately. I just don't understand. At some point where, you know, in your first tenure here, I told you to tell the man when he was wrong. I wish we would have told him he was wrong in 2013 and 2014 to now be able to be a little bit more confident in 2015 and 16.
Counselor, I think you're giving him the
I just
same
needed